Good evening, everyone. Jamie TC here. Welcome to tonight's broadcast, RaceOnOz PS4 special event, Bathurst Enduro driver swap, and I will just mute my other speaker so you can't hear me twice. There we go. So, special event. Looking forward to this. Something that the organisers have been thinking about for a little while now, and we've finally got it happening. A driver swap Enduro event on console. It's super exciting, and I know that an event like this will inject a little bit of life into the league and give the drivers something different to prepare for and plan for, and different type of racing. So really excited to see how we go here tonight. I've been drafted in off the substitutes bench to do the comms tonight, so slightly underprepared, but I'll do my best to bring the action to you as I normally do. I will have some special guests throughout the evening though, just to give me a hand, say a few words as we progress through the evening. We've got, I believe, 9 teams on the grid tonight, so 9 teams, 2 drivers each, and I'll bring a couple of people in when they're not driving during their stints, and we'll see how they're feeling about it, or what they're seeing on track and with their teammates, and just generally keep the action coming to you. Thanks everyone for jumping in the chat. Keep me company tonight. Really appreciate it. Bounty, Cameron, excited, nervous, probably all of those things. I'm only commentating and I'm both of those. Good to see you, JC, Rigsy. Hopefully I'll speak to you a bit later as well. So we've got 2 minutes on the clock countdown. We just finished up a practice session, and we had qualifying yesterday evening. So the grid has been set already. I would imagine that we will have a manual formation lap, and the drivers will get into their starting positions during that lap, and we'll have a nice orderly green flag. Now, quick overview on the event format. So as I say, a driver swap enduro event. We're going for 130 minutes tonight, so 2 hours 10 minutes. It's a long time for me to be talking in one go, hence why I've got some people coming in a bit later, hopefully. But 130 minutes, how it'll work is the driver 1 will start off the race. Driver 2 will be in the pit lane for the driver 1 stint. In order to make this work, because of course we don't have the driver swap controls and functionality that the PC guys do, need to ensure that driver 2 drives more laps than driver 1. So driver 1 will do their stint, and they will look to pit at around lap 27 or the 60-minute mark. They'll come into the pit lane and drive to the end of the pit lane. Driver 2 will see their teammate drive past, and then that will be the green light for them to leave the pits and start their stint. So a little bit fiddly, but I reckon we can make this work, and it'll be a really good event here on console. There's a mandatory pit stop for each driver in each stint, so that's a compulsory stop for fuel, and tyres are optional. Of course, being console and without those handy driver swap mechanisms that the PC League have, it means that the drivers will be in their own cars, but they must be in the same car. So if you're driving a Bentley, your teammate must be in a Bentley as well. And hopefully they're all rocking the same liveries as each other in terms of teammates, so it'll help keep a bit of an eye on the action. Drivers are underway on their formation lap at the moment. So as I mentioned, qualifying happened last night. A shootout, 1 lap shootout, top 10. Just like the Bathurst Enduros that we know in real life. I'll give you a quick rundown of how that order shakes up. So in pole position we have Footner and Gaz, followed by Binger and Rain of Fire. Both of those two cars really evenly matched, only 3/100ths of a second I believe in qualifying time, so barely a hair between them. Azuro and Stucar coming in third. Then we've got Burra and Rigsy, Noxray and Coolboy in fifth, Sparky and Stoz sixth, Metal Steel and Bounty seventh, Adge and Rocky and Zed eighth, and Psychogency and Rip the Bean in ninth place, and they'll bring up the rear of the grid. Now if I go quiet for a couple of seconds here and there, I apologise. It's probably not a technical issue. I'm struggling with a bit of a cough this evening, bit of sneezing as well, so I may have to furiously reach for the mute button on my headset and microphone just to avoid blasting your eardrums with some not very nice sounds. So, but hopefully I can get through with minimal interruptions. Hi Pesky, good to see you in the chat. Hope you're doing well, mate. Yes, the teammates should be in their own livery, so drivers running the same livery as their teammate. Alright, so we're just coming around now for the start, I believe. A bit late to the party here, so I'm not sure if there's any other requirements from the drivers in what to do, so I'm expecting the green flag. And we're away, so we've got 3 wide already. To the first corner, there's a bit of contact between the Bentley and the Audi, and Audi's gone around, contact with another Audi, turn 1. That means we've got a Bentley 1-2 here coming up straight. Looks like aside from that contact between the 2 Audis there, we kind of gotten away alright. I think that was Stoz. Now we start the climb up to the mountain. Looking okay so far. So that's the 2 Audis there of Stoz and Binger, who was second on the grid. There's a bit of work to do now, but a long way to go in the race. Azuro assuredly holding the lead here. A little bit of a gap to Gaz, who has had a fantastic start. The veteran knows this car, knows this track well, and he's got Burra Dog right behind him as they come down the mountain now. Just a quick scroll through the field. Looks like everyone's okay. Just seeing Janice, not hearing any of the car noises. I'll see if I can rectify that. Let me know if that had any effect. Get back to the action quickly. Burra's all climbing all over. Back at Gaza here. So 1 lap down of this 130-minute race. Looks like we've got a evening start. So the headlights are on. So order so far after lap 1, Azuro, Gaza, Burra, Coolboy in the Porsche, Metal Steel, Psycho, Binger, Stoz and Rocky. Thanks Bengo, I'll give it a couple more clicks on the volume. Okay. Keep on this battle in the front three here because Gaza and Barra aren't letting Azuro skip away too much. In fact, Gaza's probably made up a couple of car lengths on Azuro with Barra just hanging off the tail here. About confidence coming down the mountain. It's confidence going up the mountain as well. It's confidence everywhere that you need in order to extract the maximum to get the lap time. So it looks like Binger and Stozza are making their way up after that Audi tangle. They made up a couple of positions. A couple of drivers I'm not too familiar with have joined in the off season. So some new names to keep an eye on, and when I have a chat with some of the other guys I'll see if I can prize some information from them. Gaza really putting the pressure on here, Azuro. Coming up Mountain Straight. Passing opportunity, but it's all about getting the power down nice and early. Avoiding exit oversteer in turn one, ensuring you can take that run up the straight, keeping the slipstream. You can see as soon as the quarters start flowing here, it is a little bit difficult to follow. Let's have a quick look here at Metal, putting a lot of pressure on Cool Boy. Right behind him is Binger, who's looking to make ground after that early spin. Appears like he's got some good pace if he's qualifying. There's anything to go by. So I'm sure he'll be a factor later on. It's a long race, so there's plenty of time. My apologies, it looks like we started in the morning rather than the evening, so it looks like the sun's coming up. Bentley's looking good around here, Riggsy. So Metal's got a run here on Cool Boy. Bentley will probably have the better top end speed. And you can see, even before the King, Metal's got that done. And well played by both drivers there. There you go, so Binger's got some form. RPR, Bathurst, race win. So he'll be in the groove then, I'm sure. Let's have another look here at the front. So we'll start to see the temperatures rise now. We've got a fast track, so not at its optimum grit level. I'll be interested to see with only the 9 cars on track if we see an evolution in grip there. I would say normally 9 cars is enough for some rubber to get laid down and the track conditions to switch over to optimum, but with the race starting in the morning it might take a little bit. So good call out there. We've got Binger in the pits. So I'll see if I can have a look. That's not really going to tell me much. We're a bit far away there, but whether he's had a bit of an off somewhere. That would be a shame. Fixing some damage, so I didn't see if maybe he escaped back to the pits or if he's just driven in there, but either way he's in there. So hopefully he's just, yep, so he's away now, so he's completed his mandatory stop, which is good, so maybe not a bad idea. Coming and fixing damage, as you say, rain or fire. It's not a bad strategy. Clean car, get the mandatory fuel in. What he probably would have hoped for though is that he got out ahead of this leading battle, so he's a lap down. And he's got the front three who are absolutely giving it everything. So it'd be interesting to see how these guys react to Binger coming up, because he's clearly got some pace and he'll be very keen to get on with it. Look at that, he's already hustling the back of Burrodog's Lexus. Coming down Conroe, it looks like Azuro has managed to eke out a few tenths and a few more there as they've come over the beam for into sector 3, so he's just about 2 seconds out from Gaz. So Azuro just might have been getting his tyres in, getting the temps up. Maybe went with a little bit lower pressures early on, so they come to him as the laps wear on. The track temp warms up and the sun comes out. So Burra still there with Binger just in behind him. So no change of positions there yet. Or at least allowing Binger to unlap himself. So it looks like Gaz is the one who's maybe struggling a little bit now, just getting on the power a bit early. The rear's lighting up a bit, getting a bit sideways. That all contributes a little bit extra to the tyre wear. Got to look after the tyres in a long stint. Gaz knows exactly what to do there though. Well experienced. And look at that. So Gaz has had an issue. Gaz has had an issue just as I've talked him up. I'm sure he'll be thrilled with me for that. Sorry, has he had an issue? Yes, he has, so... This will mean Burrow is in second place now. Binger has managed to come through as well, with Gaz having that off. Just looked like so he was coming down the S's there, just seemed a bit offline, so I can't see a lot of damage on his car. We'll just see if we can have a closer look. He might have got away with that. There's no visible damage there. Hopefully he can keep going, and perhaps if he's only got a couple of seconds damage, might be able to live with it for the race, or quickly get it fixed up at his pit stop for not a lot of penalty. So now's an opportunity to see what Burrow can do on a zero. Not to say Gaz was necessarily holding him up a lot, but just having that car ahead to be pretty similar on pace. We'll see if Burrow can unleash a little bit more. He's certainly got a bit of a rocket up his backside. A red and blue rocket, or a maroon and blue rocket. Through McPhillamy, over Skyline with the sun in the eyes. So this looks like the closest battle on track, and it is unfortunately not for position, with Binger being a lap down. The other problem he's got here is that Lexus is super quick in a straight line. He's managed to get through, and maybe Burrow's just... Oh, he's gone off though. Binger has gone straight on. So, looked like he might have got a little bit wide there and on the grass. So that's really curtailed his effort. So no damage, but definitely a lot of time lost in that little excursion. So Burrowed appeared to have let him ease through. Didn't give up. Didn't put up a fight. I think Bingham might have just maybe looking in his mirrors, making sure everything was okay. Perhaps caught a bit of the grass on the outside and effectively makes your brakes invalid going into the chase there. So even more work to do for Binger. We'll see what this pace can lead to. But a zero out in front, 4.2 seconds from Burrow for the 3 back to Gaz, and Metal Steel doing really well, just a couple of seconds behind Gaz himself. I was thinking the same thing, Riggsy. It would have been tough to get by with the Lexus at ridiculous speeds. When by the time you get to the kink there and into the braking zone for the chase, it's eye-watering. What I might do, oh yeah, things have settled down a little bit, seeing as we've just been keeping an eye on Binger, and unfortunately for him, seen him be involved in a few incidents. Rain of Fire, I can see you in the chat there. What I might do is pop you an invite and see if you can come and have a chat with us and talk to us about how you've seen these opening stages go. So I'll just do that now. So I've just popped him an invite. Hopefully he joins shortly. And it looks like we have him. Rain of Fire, how you going?
Good, mate. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for jumping in and having a chat. We've
No worries.
we've obviously been having a close eye on your teammate being a king there, and a few early hiccups in the first 20 minutes of this race.
Yeah, well, we thought, well, we were hoping being up the front, turn one would be, relatively clean, but I'm not too sure exactly what happened, but he got a bit of a tap and spun, and then, yeah, after that, has managed to have a couple of other issues where he had to pit and fix some damage, so just been trying to keep him calm and just stay on the track as best we can, because anything can happen in a 2-hour race.
Absolutely, it's a long time, and he's obviously got great pace. We're just seeing in the chat one of the guys was mentioning that he's just come off winning a race at Bathurst, and so I imagine he's well in the groove. But yeah, he's got a bit of work to do.
Yeah, well, yeah, we had the race on Sunday night, and unfortunately I crashed out 3 minutes to go in that race. But yeah, Binger won by 26 odd seconds, and he was just cruising pretty much for most of the race. So he's definitely got some pace. He's managed to help me pick up some pace as well. I've probably gained 6 or 7 tenths from my own pace just by his bit of help in the last couple of days. So
Well, that's good. That's a good benefit of this sort of event is, something a bit different for the drivers rather than thinking about your own race and your own preparation, setup and strategy. You have that teammate to be able to exchange those ideas and learn from each other.
yeah, that's right. And I'm relatively new to the game, I guess, compared to a lot of blokes. So I'm still learning and finding my niche. This is a new car for me as well. So learning this car, I've started using it in the most recent season with RPR, and learning the car has been pretty difficult. But I'm getting there with the help of Binger and a few other guys, and it's starting to pay off.
That's good. And so you've been with Ruse, you were around driving last season. Um, Saw you had some good results there. Picked up in the PS4 division, I believe, and I assume you're going to be coming back again for another full season.
Yeah, I am. I was a bit disappointed. I missed the first race of the last season because I didn't know about the league until just after the first race of the season was complete. And I'd never driven the Ferrari before, so I thought I'd give that a go. Had to have a bit of help from a few of the GRT boys who had experience with the Ferrari, and yeah, managed to get some really good results. I'm not used to being at the top end of the pack, but it seemed to work pretty well for me last season. And now I've been picked up in the draft by PNL this season, and I'm just going back to McLaren, which I know I'm comfortable with, and can hopefully get some better results with this season.
Good to hear. Great that you're going to stick around and been picked up by a great team. P&L, Ty, Morgo, Eagle, Jambon, those guys will look after you. Great guys and a great team, so it'll be exciting. Is Binger going to come along for a season as well, or is he just joining for this special event?
No, I did ask him, but I think he's just happy to just run this event. He runs Saturday nights with OSA, and Sunday nights with RPR, so I think that's him really at the moment.
That's fair enough. Well, it's good to have him here regardless, and I'm sure, yeah, despite being on the back foot a little bit, he'll be in the thick of it. He's already still amongst it at the moment. You can see he's trying to get by Gaz again, unlap himself. Gaz looks like he might be letting him through here, just coming up to the elbow, and he's done so. So, bit of clear air for your teammate now, which is good. The livery, is there a story behind that? Any inspiration or theme?
Well, myself and a couple of other guys that race in RPR decided we'd try to get together, work as a team ourselves within the league, and just pick a car, help each other out with setups, etc., to try and bring a bit of pace out of each other. So there's three of us. We got Beaky who chose the car we were using. We got Aussie Thunder, who I think I've seen in the chat. He picked the team name, which we're running here, which is the RPR Firestorm, sorry. And from that name, I just sort of picked the colours. I made a few liveries up, got the boys to vote on which one they thought was best, and this was the winner. So
Nice. Well, it looks great. I think it looks really good, particularly as the sun was coming up there, and all the cars are looking really good. But yeah, it always feel good when you're rocking a cool livery. I'll say that. While you've been talking there, I've just been keeping an eye on the action, and Burrow Dog has been hauling in Azuro for the last couple of laps now is about 7 tenths behind. So I'm just going to keep an eye on the action here closely as they head up the mountain. So I was also keen to talk to you a little bit. So you were mentioning about the McLaren and the Ferrari, and you're obviously in the Audi this evening. Did you have a favourite car at all?
Well, my favourite car when I began playing this game was the Lamborghini. That's been just my favourite car in general. But I just decided, I'll give a few other cars a go, and I just find the McLaren, out of all the cars I've used so far, the McLaren sort of seems to fit my driving style better than the others. So yeah, I've got pretty comfortable in that, and I'm not say I'm super quick compared to the other cars I've driven, but I seem to be 2 or 3 tenths quicker at least on average. So, and yeah, I just find it one of the easier cars for myself to set up and be able to drive comfortably.
Good stuff. And in terms of your preparation for tonight, I know with the nature of how the event needs to operate without those specific driver swap functionality like the PC guys do, that there's a pretty limited window in terms of what you can do with strategy. But have there been any discussion between you and Binger about what you might be looking at?
No, really always, because this is my first event of this type. So we just sort of kept it simple. He's just going to run out the 27 laps. And yeah, I'll just come out, do my thing, and if I need some clear air, I may make an early pit stop. If not, I'll leave it till a bit later. We'll just see how it pans out and go with the flow.
And what about tyres? How are you feeling they might be holding up for the Audi with these 1 hour long stints?
Well, yeah, the race on Sunday night gave me a bit of confidence in that they held up the whole race. I mean, granted, it was only a 40-minute race compared to an hour, but I didn't feel any drop off at all in that 40 minutes, so I'm confident they'll last the hour or hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's good. It can certainly be car and setup dependent, and I was making a comment a bit earlier just before I got you to join in that some of the guys were sliding a little bit coming out of the exits on as they were going up and down the hill, and that can really kind of contribute those extra layers of wear that can really punish you later on in the stint. So hopefully Binger's keeping his tyres in good nick again despite some of the excursions, and you can do the same for when you jump in the car. Do you have any preparation activities or rituals or anything like that, or you just jump straight in and go when you're ready?
Yeah, no, I'm one that actually, for some reason, gets nervous right before a race, so I just sort of try and use that nervous energy. Try and keep myself as calm as possible, but not too calm, obviously, because I want to use my nervous energy to try and keep myself going, get the car running smoothly as fast as I can. Try not to be too tentative, and my main goal really is just try and be consistent.
Yeah, super important. I know a lot of us when we started, when ACC first came to console, and we were learning the game, learning the cars, the physics, and all of that, and we quickly realized that we were in a serious platform, and it was so important to be super consistent, to have a lot of concentration, to be able to make a 1 hour stint or a race without any errors. And I think everyone really put in a lot of time on getting that consistency, that mindset and that focus, just to be able to minimize the errors. So it's definitely another layer of complexity. Did you race on any other platforms before jumping onto ACC?
I had raced, would have been maybe 12 years ago now, with my first taste of online racing. My dad's got a pretty sweet PC setup, built his own rig, and I started on R Factor driving HT Commodore in a series that his group that I don't think they're around anymore, but they were doing HT Commodores and the same model Falcon, um, which was really good fun. And then, other than that, prior to this, I'd done about 5 years ago, done a 2.4 hour of Le Mans in an LMP2 car.
Oh wow.
And racing against, again, a group of guys that Dad raced with, who had experience with those cars. I, at the time, didn't have any experience at all, and actually managed to qualify pole for that race, and was doing quite well until I had a bit of a brain fade about an hour and a half in, beached it and blew the engine trying to get out. So
it's all part of motor racing, isn't it? Even virtual, those things can happen.
yeah, definitely.
Oh, it's really great to hear some of your background there. We often talk to a lot of the guys during the seasons, either on the commentary or elsewhere, and just get a bit of an understanding of where people came from. Because yeah, as you know, ACC on console hasn't been around for that long, just a couple of years or so, and everyone came from somewhere. I've been looking at the grid. Actually, and quite a lot of the guys had come from Project Cars 2, which RaceOnOz had seasons of for a number of years up until a few months ago, really, and they've migrated all over here. So yeah, it's great to see how people adapt to the new platform, and I'm glad that you're really enjoying it, and yeah, really glad that you're sticking around with Ruse and enjoying your time here.
Yeah, it's been great. All the boys have been really welcoming. Everyone's willing to help out, regardless of what team they're in. And it's recommended if there's anyone about who isn't currently racing in a series and is interested in doing it. I definitely recommend Ruse as a place to go. Yeah, it doesn't matter how fast or slow you are or your ability. It's just good fun, and yeah, everyone is aiming to help you improve.
Couldn't agree more, mate. Thank you very much for jumping in and having a bit of a chat and giving me a hand here. It's a long time to go 2 hours and 10 minutes talking by yourself, so I appreciate yourself, and got a few others lined up and I'll have a chat to as well, so we'll get a good picture of what's going on through the race. Yeah, thanks very much, and good luck preparing for your stint, and yeah, keen to see how you go.
Thanks, mate. Anytime you need a hand, just yell out, I'm here.
Will do. Cheers, mate.
Thanks.
Alright, so what we got here is Burradog still absolutely hounding the back of Azuro, and we've got a move here. Bing is really keen to get back out ahead of these guys, unlap himself and get moving. He's clearly got the pace, and so he's right on the back of Burradog, and I think that little move there has just into the last corner has put Burradog off a little bit, so he's dropped off by a few tenths to Azuro, so that's music to the ears of Azuro, who had both cars absolutely steaming down the back of him. So I wonder what's happened with Azuro, where the pace has gone, or whether it's a case of Burra's found his rhythm, the tyres have come into the window, confidence, maybe some or all, or none of those things. So it'll be interesting to see. We'll be able to hopefully have a chat with Burra a bit later on, see how he was feeling in the car, but for now he's got a job to do. There's been a couple of pitters as we've been talking, keeping an eye on this battle. Really appreciate Rain of Fire for coming on and having a chat to me. He's a new driver. First season was last season, so it's great to hear his voice and a little bit more about him. But a few pit stops have happened, so Metal Steel has come in. Binger obviously pitted quite early, get rid of a bit of damage. Rocky NZ is in the pits now. Psycho, feels like Psycho's been... He was in the pits for a while, but he's back out there in a very schmick looking Audi. Both the Audis look fantastic, has to be said. Stoz has also come in the third Audi. So he's pulling up the rear of the field at the moment. A couple of laps behind, but we've still got a long way to go. And of course, amongst the driver pairings, we have some different levels of pace. So what I have noticed, based on what I know from history, a couple of pairings where you've got some super quick drivers and some drivers who aren't quite as quick. And so we're going to see differences in how the race unfolds across these stints, which just makes it absolutely mega. Burrodog's pitted, so he's pulled the trigger. We can see that Cool Boy's about 28 seconds behind Metal, so Metal's about 18 seconds behind Burrodog. So he did drop off a little bit there, but plenty still to go. We've got driver swap to come in the near future, and with Metal Steel in particular, we've got Bounty to come in stint 2. Let's have a bit of a look at Rocky, the only Ferrari in the field. As everyone will know, I'm a bit of a Ferrari aficionado. After driving a few different cars in recent seasons on console and PC, I've gone back to the Ferrari for a bit, back to comfortable surroundings. So glad to see another Ferrari out there. The great livery as well, the purple and the white. So Rocky's made his pit stop. His teammate Adge will take over in a little bit. So Rocky and Adge, both from the Project Cars 2 League, and when that folded, as I was mentioning a short time ago, most of those guys have migrated over to have a Sunday night league in GT4 on ACC. I'm glad to see a couple of these faces that I raced with and against when I was on Project Cars 2 up until a couple of years ago. I hope they're all enjoying it. It is a bit different. Some people, when they change over, just immediately take to it. They love it, like I did. Couldn't get enough of it and really found it difficult to play and get on another platform, but I know for some of the others it's not always that way. And I'm glad that they've made the trip over regardless and have put the effort in and are signing up to events such as these and competing in the weekly series. So Rocky's just had to get out of the way there a bit. There was an Audi coming through. I think that was Binger. It's putting another lap on, and I think I just saw an Audi that looked pretty second hand, or I'm not sure if it's the livery. No, that's definitely looking like it's seen better days, both at the front and the back for Stoz. Which is a shame because that thing's also rocking a great livery, and you can see he's just clipped the wall again to the elbow, so he's just slowing down. So yeah, he's really struggling there. Stoz, he must be fielding quite a bit of damage. So even with 9 cars, finding it difficult just to keep an eye on the board. I can say that Azuro has not pitted yet. So he hasn't reacted to Burrodog. And he's still going in the lead with 18 laps chalked up. Oh, and Stoz has gone around again. It's coming over. Top of the mountain now, approaching Skyline. So I think there's only one thing here to do for Stoz, and that's to get that thing back to the pits, get it straightened out, lick a paint on it, and get going again. It's already a few laps down, so we see the mountain's been a bit tough on Stoz this evening. So that's Gaz coming through there, second place Gaz. Doing a fine job at the moment. did have that little hiccup coming down. I think it was in the S's. Didn't look like he got too out of shape. Didn't look like he hit the wall, or at least too hard. Lost a position to Burrow Dog, but since then has slowly kept up the pace. Alright, so what I might do now is see if I can say hello to another driver. So I've got a few drivers who very kindly volunteered to jump in for a chat. So I'll see if I can get Sparky in for a quick word. If he's around. Where are you, Sparky? There you are. I think one of the problems I've had is a lot of the drivers who have volunteered are all sitting down watching their teammates drive in stint 1, so I'll see if I can get a word with everyone, because we don't have long to go. We have Sparky who's joined. G'day Sparky, how you going? I'm good, thanks. Great to have you here, and thanks for jumping in and giving me a hand on this. It's been a great race so far, but talking for over 2 hours is tough. So how's things shaping up for you at the moment and your team? Yeah, we did see he picked up a little bit of damage there, and yeah, it just looked like it compounded, didn't it? Just the wall kept coming at him. Yeah, right. It's a shame. But how have you been finding the race so far? What have you been seeing? I might just, Sparky, you might need to jump into your voice chat settings and select the allow voice to be shared or broadcast or something like that. While you're doing that, I've just got a request to explain how the driver swaps work. So, hi Jason, thanks for joining us. So the driver swaps tonight will work where, because we obviously don't have the functionality of the PC, it means it has to be manually done by the drivers. So we've got drivers doing stint 1 out there at the moment, and they will go up to lap 26, I believe, or 27, or 60 minutes, whichever comes first, and then they'll drive into the pits towards the end of the pit lane, and their teammate will wait for that car to drive through to the end of the pit lane, at which point when they pass they can drive. So they need to wait for their driver to complete the allotted number of laps. So a little bit manual, but it's been drummed into everyone, so hopefully it goes off without a hitch. But it is a bit of a test as well, so we're seeing how this all works, and we might be able to refine things in the future. So Sparky, did you manage to find that setting? No, that's okay. It might be in... If you're in the party chat, there's a voice chat settings under the 3 dots menu. And then you go to share your voice. And there'll be an allow button. you can see that. That's okay. While you do that, I'll just quickly mention that Binger has just been climbing up the order here, so the few drivers in the pits with some damage. He's now in 6th place and he's a couple of seconds off Cool Boy. And apologies that my video or the broadcast went a bit blank there as I was just playing around with my settings, but hopefully it's back now. And Binger has just cruised straight past Cool Boy on the straight, so Cool Boy's been driving very sensibly. He's in a good position there. He's been keeping it clean. Don't think he's had any or many accidents, and he's certainly thinking about the long game as we've got another Audi in. I think that was Psycho coming in, so that was. How'd you go, Sparky? Nah. Yeah, and then there's 3 dots on the more. Ah, okay. That's alright. Thanks anyway. I appreciate you jumping in, and yeah, well, hopefully we'll get you in next time. All good, mate. Cheers. So apologies we couldn't get Sparky up for you, but what I might do is see if I can bring a couple more drivers in, just conscious that the stint's about to go. So I'll see if I can bring 2 in at a time. Cameron Footner and Riggsy. While we wait for them, we can see Gaz is in the pits. So Gaz is in the pits. Let's see where he managed to come out in respect of Borough. Cheers, Jason. Yeah, Borough's been pretty instrumental in organising all of this. So, yeah, hopefully your KRL drive swap went well, and that's going to work well here. Bing has been super quick, but if you didn't catch the early part of the race, unfortunately had a couple of excursions off track. A bit of an incident, turn 1, lap 1. So we're just waiting to see where he'll end up, and then he'll hand the reins over to Rain of Fire. Riggsy, come in. How are you going? Oh, I think I've lost you, Riggsy. If you're still there. I've got you. Yep. How are you? It is. Yeah. Just thought I'd say hello and see how you think Burr's faring. Great, yeah, he's doing a good job. Benefited from Gaz going off a little bit. Yeah. Yep. Fair enough. Unfortunately, the guys can't hear you because you must have the same setting issue as Sparky had. So if you need to run off, that's okay. If I'll bring Cameron in if you can hear us, Cam.
Yep, I'm here. My settings are loud, so it should be all good.
That's good. How are you feeling about the race so far?
Yeah, very nervous. Not a hard place to pass, and there's not an easy place to pass. Sorry, and there's 2 cars up the road, so it's pressure's going to be on, and I'm feeling it.
Yeah, well, we've just seen how that's shaken out with Zero finally coming into the pit. So he's managed to build up a 10-second buffer to to Burra, and then you're about another 20 seconds back, 18 seconds back. So bit of work to do.
Yeah, so Gaz has been doing all right. Kept it off the fence mostly. A couple little incidents, but we weren't going to take any tyre. Well, Gaz wasn't going to take tyre, and we didn't change the settings before the pit. So unfortunately, the time we were meant to make up by running slower, we've just given away. But yeah, we'll see what we can do when he hands the car over.
So your stint must be coming up shortly, probably in a handful of laps.
Yeah, 4 laps from now. So Gaz has just got one job: bring the car back straight and hand it over, and I've got to bring it home straight after that.
Oh, he's done a fine job so far and looked really racy there, particularly at the start. Though looks like after having a little bit of a little tiny moment coming down the mountain, he's just kind of got himself sorted out and just focusing on the consistent laps.
Yeah, we had a plan. We knew what we need to do, and yeah, hopefully the race is going to come to us in the end. But only time's going to tell that. I've got to try and balance how hard I push to keep the car off the concrete and try and chase down the top 2.
So you and I both suffer from the same illness. It's called Bathurst-itis, and so I know that you're always a bit nervous around here driving laps, and I know the feeling.
Yeah, I'm more comfortable driving 10/10s because that's what I practice. And unfortunately, when you're driving 10/10s, you open yourself up to risk, and you pay for it around here. A rub of the fence, yeah, just costs you that aero damage, which will affect your stability and your top line, and you just got to support it until your pit stop, really. So
it's a massive challenge, and I enjoy watching this, but I'm certainly enjoying not driving it. That's for sure. I'm quite happy to be on the sidelines watching this one.
It's been good having Gaz do the driving so far. Just hope I can do as good of a job.
Outside of that, the car feeling good though?
Yeah, car feels good, feels fast. I'm yet to try and put in a big stint, so I'm kind of going in a little bit blind, I could say. Full fuel and over 27 laps, whatever it's going to be, 31, 32 laps without finding a fence. It's going to be a tall ask.
Well, all you can do, mate, is get in there, do as best as you can, and yeah, try and keep the concentration up, and what will happen will happen.
Yep, that's it.
I'll let you go. Get prepared for your stints, and yeah, apologies, it was just a short one. The time was going really quickly, so yeah, maybe we'll catch you at the end if we get a chance.
Yeah, no dramas. Thank you. And just one thing: no commentators' curses. So.
I'll do my best, mate. Cheers.
Thanks. Cheers, Jamie.
Okay, so we've got all the mandatory pit stops out of the way, and as you will have heard, we're coming up to just about when the drivers will need to be pitting to do their driver swaps. These driver 1 or the first drivers will need to ensure they do less laps than driver 2. This is to ensure that the driver at the end reflects the correct finishing position. So a little bit of cognitive load for both driver 1 and driver 2 in this changeover period. We'll keep an eye as best as we can, but so I'm not exactly sure what we'll see, but what we are seeing is Burradog closing back in on a Zero. The gap was about 3 seconds. Burra just dropped off the back of Zero at the pit stops, or just before he pitted. Zero went long, managed to build up a 10-second gap, so could have been pace, could have been fuel, could have been some other factor. But Burra's coming back at a Zero, looking to give Riggsy the best possible opportunity to attack Zero's teammate. Stu Car will be in his rig, hopefully doing some stretches, maybe having a beer. And he'll be in the seat for the next stint, taking over from Enduro. Apologies, I couldn't get a couple of voices to you. Riggsy was pretty excited with how Burrow was going. Felt he got up to speed quite quickly in that car. Was speaking about a few things that he was a little bit vague about, didn't want to give away the strategy. So he'll be in the car shortly. And Sparky, we were just briefly chatting about Stoz and how unfortunate it had been. He got a bit out of shape on the grass somewhere apparently and struggled to contain it, and then was just dealing with some compounding damage as he was trying to cycle around. So good luck to Sparky taking over from Stozza shortly. So just as we approach this period, I might have a quick 30-second break, and I'll be back with you very, very shortly. Thanks everyone, I'm back with you now. So let's have a look at the race story at the moment. We've got Azuro in the lead, completed 27 laps. So I'd imagine this will be his last. Burrowdog 5 seconds behind, so he's absolutely hauled him in. He's clearly got the pace, and he's going to put Riggsy in a fantastic position to put the pressure on Stu. We've got Gaza still motoring around in third and doing a fantastic job. 26 seconds behind Burrow, so Cameron Footner will have a little bit of work to do, but we know how quick he is. Metal Steel, who also has been doing a phenomenal job, in fourth, although as I say that, he's backwards down into the chase. Maybe I should just talk about the race and not mention anyone's names from here on in. Metal, you're doing a fantastic job, mate. Bit of damage there, so that'll push him back a bit. And in fact, it's allowed Binger to come in to fourth place, so hasn't he made up some ground? Metal coming into the pits, I wonder if they'll use this opportunity to do the driver swap. You'd imagine so. Just quickly as he's going down the lane, we've got Coolboy in 6th, Rocky 7th, Psycho 8th, and Stozza a few laps down in 9th. So let's just have a look and see Metal here. I'll see if I can keep an eye on Bounty, his teammate. You can see, so there we go. So Metal has passed Bounty, which allows Bounty to be released from the pits. Metal will pull that car up at the end of the pit lane, and Bounty is away. So our first driver swap of the evening. Bounty in for Metal, and Bounty's going to bring it home. And I tell you what, I bet Metal is very keen he doesn't have to sit in the pit box and fix that car. So now we've got the drivers coming in. They're at their maximum allotted number of laps, 27 laps. So that's Stu going out. Unfortunately, Stu and Azura didn't get the memo about driving in the same colours, but doesn't matter. Burrow Dog in the pits. Rigsy is away. So that gap at the end was 2.6 seconds. Actually, no, I shouldn't trust that because they did go over the timing line in the pits. Nonetheless, the gap is small. Gaza in the pits. Footner at the end of the pit lane. And away he goes. So there's your top 4. Sorry, top 3. Driver swapped in. We got Binger. What a stint that was. It had everything. Lap 1, turn 1. We had damage and into the wall. We had massive high-speed excursions through the chase, on the grass and the sand. He pulls it up and away goes Rain of Fire. Cool Boy will do the same. The Cool Boy's driver partner is Noxray. So the only Porsche driver in the field. You know that the BOP for the Porsche on PS4 isn't the most favourable for high-speed, long straight circuits. But he's done well. His car looks good, looks clean. He executed his stint really well. There was some smart driving there. Couple of faster guys came up and he didn't seem too worried about getting in a battle, just worried about getting his stint done at a good pace, and he's put himself in a good position. 5th place for Noxray to get away. So Stozza is in the pits. I haven't seen Psycho in yet. So here he is. So Psycho's in. He was a couple of laps down as is Stoz. Psycho's going to hand over to Rip the Bean, who I believe is a late call-up for this evening. We can see Rocky and Zed has come into the pits and handed over to Adge just up ahead there in the Ferrari. So away goes Rip the Beans, who has earned himself a stop-go 30-second penalty. So that'll be speeding in the pits. That's an interesting one. So you pick up that penalty at the exit. But the actual offence can occur at the start, at the pit entry. So I'm not sure if that happened after the formation lap necessarily. Anyway, let's not hurt our brains worrying about that. He's got the penalty and he's going to need to serve it. So now we're in some uncharted territory here with regards to the timing board. I will be keeping as close an eye as possible as to the situation, but it's obviously going to be a little bit difficult because of the nature of what we're doing. So what the timing board is showing is Bounty at the head of the field, followed by Stu, who is Azuro's partner, and Rigsy, who's Burrowdog's teammate. So I think the issue that I'm seeing here is showing Bounty as being ahead on track rather than the finishing or the position that Metal had come in, which was 6th, I believe. So I'm not sure if there's been an error there whether Metal had to complete further laps or not. So Rip the Beans is coming into serve his stop go 30 seconds. I did notice he hit the wall there as well. You're right, JC. Yeah, it did look like he did one fewer lap there. So maybe that's thrown things out a little bit. So I'll keep following the action, particularly the action that's impending with Riggsy picking up where Burrowdog left off and starting to chase down Stu. And we'll see if we can grab a word with Burrow at some point a bit later. And maybe figure out what's going on. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Janice, yes, the clean race. Certainly didn't see many driver-to-driver incidents. There was a bit of drama at turn 1, lap 1, which I've spoken about a few times between the Audi drivers, and that definitely put Binger and Rain of Fire, their entry, a bit behind the 8 ball. Binger's been playing catch-up ever since, but generally it looks like drivers have kept it clean. We've seen a couple of good little battles, a few good overtakes, but generally drivers looking at the long game and knowing it's more important to be there at the end rather than the beginning. And whilst I didn't get a chance to watch too much of it because I was away over the weekend, I think a few drivers at the Bathurst 1000 on the weekend probably could have done with that same advice. G'day Vic. Thanks for jumping on, mate. Hopefully you haven't found too much pace in that Audi for our race tomorrow night. We've been watching a good battle here, and we've lost someone. Just came off the timing screen. Who was that? Hopefully it's not a driver that is meant to be driving. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so everyone who should be driving is driving, but one of the drivers who completed their first stint has exited the building, and I think it might have been Cool Boy. Nonetheless, we've still got our eye on Riggsy. And I have to say, Stu looks like he's got the Bentley working well. We've got the king himself, Vic, watching on tonight. Most of you watching will be well aware Vic is the ultimate around here from our Ruse console perspective. A few drivers out there tonight looking to take up the mantle. Apologise again for some of those who perhaps missed the start. I'm suffering from a bit of a cough and a sniffle, a few sneezes, so if I go dark for a few seconds here and there, it's probably not a technical issue. Probably having a coughing fit. So Footner's one to watch. He's 25 seconds behind Riggsy, so I think he's managed to pull in a few seconds so far. So he had a way to catch up, but we've got over an hour left. So effectively 30 seconds to make up to get to the lead, and I will tell you, if anyone can do it, it is this driver. So Rigsy 4.2 seconds behind Stu now. So here's something we haven't done. Let's go for a lap with Stu around Mount Panorama. He's coming over the start finish line now. His best lap at 2:03.8. His last at 2:04.1. Car heavy with fuel. Tyres might be pressured for a bit later on in the stint. So it's not always about pace, but let's just see how his car control and consistency is as we come over the mountain. Braking early there. Coasting in, allowing the car to drift out wide. I'm always interested in the line driver's take here in. And there, he goes a little bit wide there. Let's come over a bit of a lift off to the tree. Great big lift off there. He's just ensuring he doesn't hit the wall. McPhillamy looking pretty good, not troubling the curb too much. Coming down there, you just want to glide down progressively, shift down, not too aggressive to upset the car. And come down. Conrod. Bit of a reprieve after the hectic top of the mountain. The King braking at about 150. Looks like someone's knocked out the board, which might be helpful. So there you might try and pick out a mark on the road. That's typically my go-to, though not very safe, particularly if you've got a wet track. He's going to come over the line with a 2:03.9, so some pretty consistent laps from Stu. And I've just noticed in the delta there, Rigsy has dropped out to 7 seconds, so looks like he's had an issue in the last lap and has dropped a few extra seconds, so a bit more work to do there. Let's just see how Rigsy takes coming into the cutting. I think I've referred to that a couple of times as the elbow. Apologies. Good confidence there. As you can see, just in trouble with the apex. You want to avoid the wall on the outside. Again, kind of missing the apex, but then he didn't want to trouble the curb on the outside, so there's a lot of time, a lot of speed left on the table, but just to ensure he gets through the stint. So in the elbow you could hear a little bit of a lock up there, possibly a bit of a brake bias change or an ABS setting that he could play with. So just seeing metal, just seeing that you, yeah, you were saying you had to come in. The car was looking pretty second-hand at that point. So yeah, we're a bit not sure there. Something with the laps, and looks like from a procedural perspective, it looked fine. You coming in and Bounty going out, but yeah, might have been something with the maths around how all of this works, but it was a shame that you had that accident right there, or that incident right at the end of your stint, because you were driving beautifully there and looked like you're setting up Bounty for a real shot. At the top 5, you were running well within it, so we'll see what he can achieve regardless. Riggsy dropping a few more tenths off Stu, so Stu looking really, really good here at the moment. Riggsy doesn't appear to be able to live with the pace, at least at the moment. So what can Footner do then? He's down to 21 seconds behind Riggsy. A further 8 seconds is obviously to Stu, so if we have a look, let's just have a gander at some times. So 203s, 204s, bit of a spread there. His best to low 203 and his last 204.7. He spoke about this, Cam, how difficult it is, the concentration levels, the consistency, being able to drive at 10 tenths. That's his style. Very dangerous thing to do here. So a couple of drivers have come in and completed their mandatory pit stop. Sparky getting it over with early. Ziadi looking sparkly. Root the Beans came in and served his stop go 32nd, and looks like he's subsequently come in again to the pits to serve his mandatory pit stop, and we did see that he tagged the wall maybe once or twice there, so a bit of damage repair, I would say. Let's have a bit of a look at some of the other drivers. Noxrai took over from Cool Boy, who did a great job. Porsche would probably feel pretty good coming over the top of the mountain, but wouldn't be a very nice car to be in down mountain and Conrod Straight on this version of the console. BOP looks like he might have a couple of scrapes there on the front of the car. Bit of paintwork. The front splitter might be affecting some aero. He's still got a mandatory pit stop up his sleeve, so might be looking to just eke out a little bit more, burn the fuel, come in and make a few repairs to that Porsche. Adge in the Ferrari took over from Rocky. Another Project Cars alumni team pairing. Edge is definitely taking advantage of the curves, which is something we haven't seen all the drivers do. So he must be feeling very good. He's got one of the Audis, but I think they are on a different lap, so that'd be Rain of Fire, who's a lap ahead. So this gives us a chance to look at Rain's car. We had a chat to him a bit earlier on when his teammate was doing his stint. I have to say, it looks like his car has a few scrapes on it as well, so he's seen the barrier once or twice. Adge will be receiving the blue flags here. Rain's been close to him now for a few turns, so I hope Adge is seeing the flags, and it looks like yes, he's getting out of the way now, so good driving. So Rip the Beans, as I mentioned, was a late addition. Managed to get a last minute driver pairing with Psychogency. Psycho, long time participant here at Ruse with the ACC Console League. Rip the Beans, a new driver. Be interesting to see whether some of these guys will continue on. Rain of Fire mentioned his teammate Bingham might not join for the Ruse season. Does a lot of other racing on the side. Either way, happy to have these guys on board, participating in some clean racing special event. Driver swap Bathurst Enduro. Through the Beans. Seems to have a magnet to that wall there. He's done it a few times. There's one driver I know knows how to eke out a consistent race stint. Sparky God. He's very conscious that qualifying pace doesn't always translate to race pace. He's acutely aware of the differences, the mental differences, the car differences that you need to factor in between the two types of driving. So far he's Audi. He's looking in pretty good nick. So Bounty still out there, bit unsure how this is all playing out. Metal very kindly offered some comments on the situation when he was entering the pits. So I'm not sure what will happen, but nonetheless, you got Bounty, one of the quickest drivers out there. And he's looking in good shape. Of course, Bounty, his website, The Podium, a new team for the season. Podium Racing Team is going to feature his colours, which are, I suppose, more or less what you're seeing on his car right now. Bounty does some critical work for us, some great work for us, not only running, hosting, maintaining that awesome website that houses all of our seasons and series info, points tables, all look very schmick and presentable. Not only that, he's a team captain now and is involved in many other things that we do to keep the place running. And I'm not surprised at all to see him throwing his hat in the ring for the race tonight. Hey Azuro, good to see you in the chat, mate. Fantastic stint Burrow was definitely putting the pressure on, but you held position. You've handed over the reins to Stu in a fabulous position, so well done on that. Let's just watch Bounty come through Skyline. He was a bit wild coming into the first part. The rear stepping out a little bit. Coming down the hill, it was a weight transfer to the front of the car. Coming out of the elbow now down to Conrod straight. So 45 minutes to go. Still a long way. Has gone a bit quicker than I imagined, actually. Which is a good thing, and even though we've got 9 cars on the grid, trying to ensure that I'm seeing as much as I can, as we should be seeing, has been a bit difficult. So we've got a yellow flag waving there. I'm not sure. Knoxry was on the straight, so he's maybe picked up a little bit more damage. He had a little bit when we were last on him not that long ago. But he carries on. So Riggsy's dropped off to 11 seconds behind Stu, so just doesn't quite have the pace. Like, it appears maybe a few tenths a lap. He did make a couple of mistakes that perhaps exaggerated the gap a bit. I see a bit of a scrape on his right hand side, so it might have just clipped the wall, the side of the car, so that won't be helping. But he made up a little bit on Stu at the end of that lap. But Footner 17 seconds now behind Riggsy. So he's reeling him in, but is he doing it fast enough? That is the key. Quick check of the times. Ooh, that last lap, Footner 2:07.2. So he won't be reeling him in fast at all if he keeps doing too many of those. Ooh, he's a bit sideways there. He's really taking the momentum out, and he's got to carry that all the way down through McPhillamy and into Skyline. Oof. Yeah, he's really struggling on power. You can see the car just, the rear just doesn't want to stay gripped to the track. And that sliding is going to be creating a lot of heat, a lot of temperature in the rears. And that'll contribute to wear and loss of grip, as we all know. So we have a bit of a field spread at the moment. So what I might do is see if I can bring in another voice to say g'day. I might see if I can grab Gaz, because I'm really keen to see how he's thinking Cameron's going. So I didn't give Gaz a prior warning, so I'm just going to flick him an invite unannounced. See if we can have a quick chat. Hopefully catch Burrow Dog in a little bit as well. Let's see if he can give us some inside knowledge on how all this is going. It looks like we have Gaz. How you going, Gaz?
Hey Jamie, good thanks. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Very interested in how your race is going, how Footner's going. It's been eventful for a lot of the drivers, but yeah, how'd you feel your stint went?
Yeah, I had a few small errors that lost me time here and there, but all in all, it went pretty well. Yeah, Azuro was too quick for me. He drove off up the road.
He did, yeah,
And
but not too far because Burrow managed to keep him in sight and actually started hauling him back in. So yeah, he
yeah,
didn't get too far up.
I'm pretty sure Burrow took tyres, so that helped him in the second half of his stint. I assume. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see some of the strategies and some of the guys running fatter fuel and longer, and yeah, some taking
Yeah.
his tyres and some not. So different strategies going on.
Yes, I think it's very close if you change tyres or not, which I think Burrow showed there at the end.
How did you feel the Bentley was handling in general, though? Did you feel comfortable? Feel like it had a good balance of pace and consistency?
Yeah, because I normally tune them up with the fuel in, so it gives me a bit more confidence at the start of the race. So um, yeah, it felt good for me for 90% of the stint.
I have to
Yeah.
apologise, Gaz. I was giving you I was talking you up, and then the next moment I saw you just down. I think just coming down the S's. I don't think you'd clobbered the
Yeah.
wall, or at least too hard. But I was like, yep, I shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, I had a bit of a pinballing moment down through there one lap. Yeah, so you gave me the commentator's curse, did you?
Yeah, yeah. No, I did it to poor
Oh,
Metal
good.
as well, just later on. So, yep, it's been a fantastic night so far. um, how how do you reckon this event has been going? Like you and I obviously been doing some racing on the PC and have been doing the driver swaps there, where that platform, of course, has all of that functionality built into
Yep.
it and working, but you know the different ways we've had to go about it here on console. How do you reckon it's gone?
It's gone well. I think the way it's been run is about the best way you can do it, and that it was an awesome night last night doing the quali and then watching the top 10 shootout. It was a fun night racing, and then a fun night of entertainment watching the quick guys do their hot lap at the end. It was good.
Yeah, it feels good to mix it up, different format, and try something new, and yeah, have the drivers think about the team. Not that we don't think about the team in general in console, because we do have that bigger team, but yeah, driving with a teammate, certainly, as you and I know, having done 8 hours together a few weeks ago, you know how.
On a wet track too.
Yeah, this is almost
But
a
anyway.
sprint race compared to that.
Oh, this is a walk in the park.
Yeah, well, I'm just glad that we're trialing out, at least anyway, this sort of format, so we can have this sort of experience for the guys, because yeah, it's great, I reckon.
Yeah, it is.
So do you reckon Cam can chase down Rigsy or even Stu?
I reckon he'll have Rigsy in his sights soon. He's made a couple of small errors that have set him back a bit, but I think he's doing pretty consistent low 203s. So
Yeah, it's a big classic Footner almost. You know, he's got that sheer one lap pace, and then every time I've popped on his car, he's been in a 207 or something like that. So maybe just those two times I happened to catch him, he'd unfortunately had a bit of a bad lap.
Yeah, no, he's back in a rhythm now. Looks pretty good, but yeah, did have a few bad laps. Probably when you're on him, like you said.
He's driving in his classic all action, you know, rear tail end everywhere, hanging out.
Yep.
Probably tires red hot at the rear. It's classic cam, but it's great to watch.
It is.
All right, Gaz,
Yeah,
I'll let you go. Thanks for jumping in and giving me a hand here. It's been a long time talking, but yeah, appreciate you jumping in.
No worries, Jamie. Thanks for having me. It's been good.
No worries. Catch up.
All right. Bye.
Okay, so in the chat we've got g'day, Adman. Great that you could make it. Say hello tonight. We've had a good race for this first driver swap Enduro on the console. We got the drivers on stint 2 at the moment. Stu is out there and is leading. Bounty, Riggsy, Footner. So some of the usual suspects, and then we got Noxerai, Rain of Fire, Adjun Sparky still in there. I think we may have lost a driver. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, so we've lost someone. And then we've got... I'm just not sure who we've lost. Beans. That sounds like a name I haven't said for a while. So it's like Beans has dropped out, which is a shame. So it's our first DNF of the evening, Psychogency and Beans. And Azuro, let me see if I can grab you in for a quick chat. If you get, or if you're already on your PlayStation, be handy, and I'll see if I can flick you an invite. For everyone else, the screen may go blank for a moment. Not quite sure what your full 143. I guess that's you. Hopefully that's you, and we'll have a chat if you're around. So just having a look here, Footner continues to reel in Riggsy, but still about 14 seconds odd, and so we've got Azuro. Hi mate, how you going? Before you get going, I'll do a quick check and see if everyone can hear you, because we've had a couple of guys jump in tonight who haven't had the setting to allow their voice to be shared broadcast. No worries. Should be in party audio settings, yes, and there'll be a...
Always allow.
Yep.
I'm onto it.
Good stuff. Alright, so anyone else listening in? He may have just flicked over that setting now, Adam, so I'll get him to talk, say a few words, Azuro.
Mate, they can probably hear me breathing in the big ones, so...
Yeah, I can hear you sucking them in.
Well...
So what did you think?
A lot better than I thought I'd go, in all honesty. So it was I was getting a bit worried when Burrow Dog just reeled me in like I was standing still, but I was able to keep him behind, so that was good, and just had it fat full of fuel and was never taking tyres, so yeah.
Pretty belt and braces strategy that. Just if you're out front, just keep it straight and yeah, do the simplest strategy possible.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So it was I was sort of hoping a lot of others would take tyres, but apparently Burrow Dog wasn't going to, but he didn't change it to not stop taking tyres. So
yeah.
If he didn't take them, he probably would have had me. So
yeah, it's been good to see how the races kind of ebbed and flowed, and the way the pace differentials between the drivers. How how much practice did you manage to get in before tonight?
Well, I did about 8 laps with Stu last Friday, and then I think an hour and a half before last night, and then about an hour or two today. So, not as much as I'd like to, but yeah, it was me and Stu were just jumping in to have a bit of fun, and we're actually going all right. He's just got to bring it home now. So,
He's doing really well, so I'm just
Yep.
following him at the moment as he's coming down the mountain, and he'd been pulling away from Rigsy a bit. We have a little bit of a wild card with where Bounty's car has ended up, so I'm not exactly sure what all of that means.
well, he's come out of nowhere.
Yeah. So we'll figure that out later. But
Yeah,
yes, Stu's
yeah.
been driving really well, and Cameron Footner, who you know is super,
he's a
super
freak.
quick.
Yep.
He's reeling in Rigsy. So I've been thinking and talking about on the stream, as you probably heard, whether he's got the pace to firstly catch Rigsy and get past him, but whether he might even trouble Stu. Or do you think Stu might have enough pace in him?
Oh, I don't know. Footner's he admitted he's not really keen around Bathurst because he's just flat out the whole time. He's pretty much on edge, and hopefully he puts her into the wall trying to reel us in. So
Yeah.
I've just told Stu, just low 204s, high 203s. Just pump them out, mate.
I think that's pretty sound. And I was talking to Cameron earlier, and we talked about those very things. Him and I are very similar around here, that's for sure. So I was interested because I'd been racing ACC on the console PS5 up until the end of last season, and I spotted your name coming over from the Project Cars 2 League, and
Yep.
I was interested to hear your thoughts on how you found the transition to ACC in general. Yeah.
Totally different beast. ACC, when I first bought the game over a year ago, I didn't like it, played it for 15 minutes and gave up, and then Stu got me into it there when the Sunday Night League was starting up, and it makes Project Cars look pretty amateurish now, so now that I'm playing it more and more, and it is tough. So it's very, very tough. So
yeah, I was saying to one of the other guys earlier, I was like you, as many of us were, who migrated over from Project Cars to ACC, and yeah, getting used to it is just a completely new thing, more complex, more things to think about.
You can't get away with little errors in ACC. You run a tiny bit wide off line, and yep, that's it. You're in the marbles, and she don't turn. So it's good because that's how it is in real life. So it's what you want in a sim.
Yeah, and you went pretty well in that Sunday night series.
I had a couple of good. I went better than I thought I would, but Stu was sort of helping me out a bit, getting used to it, and we closed the gap to Footner. That was the main thing. So we're coming for him. So, and it's coming from a racing background in my teens. It's like I haven't tried iRacing or anything, but this would have to be pretty goddamn close. So
yeah, I think we're pretty lucky on console to have this platform in particular, despite all of its issues and bugs, which is disappointing. But yeah, I can say that at least for the most part, the racing is still the racing. So
yeah,
that's the main
it is.
thing.
And it's a lot better racing because you don't have people dive bombing from 6 cars back or anything like that. It's good. It's proper racing now. And a lot of the guys in the Sunday Night League I didn't know when I jumped in there, but awesome bunch of fellas to race with. Awesome races. So
I'm glad that that's the impression, and not just the impression, the feeling, because I know the guys in the background have worked really hard to make the league as what it is, as not just something that's competitive and high quality, but something that people feel like they can feel part of the community and help each other and talk to each other as mates as well as competitors.
Well, I've been a part of a few leagues, and it doesn't have the what would you call it? Like, it's the others are just racing, and there's a lot of drama. Here, it's you can have a joke, race hard, and it's good, and it's real competitive. So it's really good.
And so I assume that you'll be sticking around then for more of the Sunday league, maybe even the Tuesday night league.
Well, I'm doing the Sunday League, and Burra Dog's been hounding me to do the GT3s because he wanted me on his team, and I finally caved. So I was going to sit out the GT3s just till I got a bit used to it a bit more, but no, he's been on my case, and I think the only way to shut him up is get in there and do it. So
might be a case of once the bug bites, then that'll be it. You'll be forever there.
Mate, you never lose the itch for racing. You never do. So,
That's right.
But Burra, I think I might have to send a contract, and you might have to pay me now, buddy, after holding you off there tonight. So,
you wouldn't be the first one to have those sorts of conversations. Yeah, he's. I know he's very competitive, but he's done a great job putting this together with JJ and some of the other guys.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's good. I'm glad there's people out there donate their own time for it. Yeah, so I hope I can donate some form of time for, even if I could commentate one night when I'm not racing or something, just to help in a way. So it'll be good. Everyone should chip in some way, shape or form, I reckon. So.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I was talking to someone about this, trying to explain what it was all about. Someone who doesn't know sim racing, like a work colleague, and I was explaining how it's like a community. It's like a community sport, that goes down. Like if someone played football on a Sunday afternoon or something like that. It's got that community vibe, and everyone pitches in. Someone's on the barbecue, someone's on the canteen, someone's putting the cones out.
Yep, and even in the real world, you want to kill each other on the racetrack, but you're still good mates when you come off it. So you just laugh, and even though you abuse each other when you crash into each other, but 5 minutes later you're having a laugh, and that's pretty much what it's like on here.
Exactly.
It just doesn't have the big dollar value added to it, so
yeah.
Which is a good thing.
I've got one more quick question for you, but just before I do,
I'll
just mention that Bounty's dropped down, so he's made his pit. Riggsy's come through, so we've now got the order of Stu, Riggsy, and Footnar, which I suppose is the order we were anticipating. So Bounty has come down the field, but yeah, Stu, Riggsy, and Footnar still to do the mandatory stop. So my question, Azuro, is what racing did you do when you were a kid?
I raced go-karts from the age of 10 to the age of 20. My dad got me into it because he raced them from the day before I was born, and he's actually still racing them now at the age of 64. So, yeah, it's some of the people that were in there at the time, like Chazzy Mostert in juniors with us and that, running around southeast Queensland. Ryle Harris, Australian youth champion. There's some good people that I run against, and yeah, it was good. Best time of my life, so...
That's awesome. Will you think about getting back into it again in some shape or form?
Oh, I'd love to, but my bank account ain't big enough. My old man won't let me share his go-karts anymore, which I don't understand. I'm a bit more mature, and I wouldn't crash them and cost him as much money now, so...
At least we've got this racing here, which is, can be more than enough in a lot of ways.
That's why I'm on here, mate. It's good enough for me till I can get back into something in the real world, but yeah.
Awesome. Well, mate, I'll let you go and cool down and watch your teammate for the end of the race. He's just come in and does his mandatory pit stop, and it all looked pretty straightforward. So
that's good.
Go and have a drink and a relax.
I'm having dinner too.
Yeah.
Drink, dinner, and a sit down, I think. So.
Well done, mate, on your on your stint and where you put your team, and good luck for the rest of the race.
Before I go, everyone was probably wondering what I was doing on the formation lap. I had a brain fade thinking, don't start till 7:30. Well, being in Queensland, daylight saving. So I just took off like a bat out of hell. Lucky I switched on coming across the top.
Okay.
Because I thought it was still the practice lobby, and I'm like, this doesn't look right. So
like it's
sorry, boys. Sorry, boys.
It's all good. Cheers, mate. Appreciate it.
All right, mate. Cheers, Jamie. Thanks for streaming it, mate.
No worries. Have a good one.
See you, mate.
Okie dokie. So we've got had everyone come into the pits, and Cameron Footner is the only driver out there remaining. So I guess he picks up the net lead of the race. Things have spread out a little bit, so it is a bit difficult to kind of understand who's who and where. So Bounty, I think he had dropped down a bit because he had done that mandatory stop, and so now Riggsy, Stew, and eventually Footnote, when he does his pit stop, will fall behind Bounty, and we will end up in that same position that we were in before. But the gap, so 10 seconds separates Footnote and Bounty, with 18 further back to Stew, so I think a pit stop with no tyres and maybe a splash and dash is somewhere in the vicinity of mid 20 second, like 24 seconds maybe. So I'd say that should still be a comfortable position for Stu to be in. And then Riggsy, we'll just wait for him to go over the timing beam. Didn't quite catch what that gap was, but that looks like it has blown out quite a bit. So Stu is coming up over the top towards the grade, and Riggsy is down Mountain Straight. So yeah, a bit of a gap there now. Rain of Fire. Let me get out a chopper cam and just have a see how his car's looking. He did have a few scratches on it a bit earlier, but if you just have a look at his delta there. So he's running some nice consistent laps by the looks of it. So into a bit of a groove. It's good to chat to him a bit earlier on. Noxrai, looks like he cleaned up those bits and pieces of damage. He had a few issues there on his front splitter, which I can't imagine was helping him get over the mountain too well. Looks like that's all tidied up. Him and Callboy have done a good job getting that thing over the mountain for 2 hours 10 minutes. We got 18 minutes to go. Sparky, 15th place in the Audi. Let's have a look. It was looking like it came off the showroom floor earlier, and it still looks like that now. Then we got Adge in the Ferrari. Looked like he was really aggressively using all of the road and all of the curbs before, but no issues on that Ferrari. So he's driving well, but a few laps down unfortunately, so Porsche of Oxfry will take that position. So starting to get in the situation where the leaders will be overlapping the drivers who were lower down the order in the first stint, so that'll make things nice and easy for me. But let me tell you what the conditions look like at the moment. We are at an optimum track, air temp of 23, track temp of 30, but as Barra notes in the comments, we got rain coming. And this was not something I was anticipating. Bit of jeopardy to end this race. Well, this could shake things up. This could shake things up a lot. So rain in 7 minutes will take us to probably just under the 10-minute mark to go. Which, if you rough estimate off the top of my head, we're looking at 4 laps then. How long does it take for the track to start to get wet? To where that crossover where you just can't keep going around on slick tyres. Don't think anyone was anticipating this. Well, let's enjoy it for what it's going to be, because it's not only coming in 7 minutes, it is now coming in 2 minutes. So this could certainly mean we need to see people pit for wet tyres, and if no one knew this was going to happen, doubt anyone's got a pit strat sitting there ready to go with wet tyres, wet pressures. It's Arjun the Ferrari just taking a bit too much speed through the first part of the chase there. Lost the rear. Let's see what's going on. Stu, 5 seconds behind Bounty. Noxray is just a cool 3,189 seconds behind someone, so starting to see some interesting stuff happen, and I've got no timings for just about everyone else. Okay, Riggsy, 39 seconds back from Stu, so Riggsy's really dropped off there. Maybe is just settling for a solid podium. But why not speculate? Why speculate when we can ask the great man himself? Burrodog, what is going on with your teammate? I've just flicked him an invite. Let's have a chat with him if he's available. Stu closing down Bounty at a rate or not. 4 seconds difference there. Footner's still yet to pit, but if he's seen the weather, he's just played a masterstroke. If it rains and he needs to go to wet tyres, he's just walked himself into a possible race victory. Burrodog, talk to me. What's happening? I can hear you. It's raining. It is raining right now. The raindrops are falling on top of Cam Footner's. So I was just speculating on that. Yeah, how much rain we'll actually get and whether the track will actually get wet enough to require the wets. It's going to be interesting. It looks like we'll have some increase in rain over the next 2 minutes, with rain still occurring in 7 minutes. So, yeah, this is... Yeah. So Vic's on the blower. Box, box, box. He's called it. So Vic knows a thing or two. We've got greasy conditions, so we are well on the way. I know that you can probably get away with dries on a greasy track, and even damp in some situations. If you're able to keep some temperature in the tyres and there's a bit of a dry line, you can, but yeah, after that, it's good night. Mate, while we wait for this action to play out, how'd you go? How'd you find your stint? You had some great pace. I've got some bad news for you, Burrow. No one can hear you. There is a setting in this party chat, or your party chat settings, which is allow voice to be shared or broadcast. So if you can find that, have a look. While you do that, I'll just talk to what's going on here a bit. So everyone's coming into the pits. Footner didn't come into the pits. He's still going. Let's get on board. Let's see what the conditions are like. probably got into him a bit too late, actually. It would have been good to see him over the mountain. 6 seconds down on the Delta, which to me doesn't seem too bad considering the conditions. Windscreen wipers on. Oh, I think he's played a blinder here. If he gets the wets on and doesn't absolutely fluff the temperatures, we've got a race. We have got a race, and in he comes. So, wow. Alright, that's woken me up. Where is Riggsy and Bounty? Riggsy's still in the pits. Why did that take him so long? Bounty stopped for wets. Stu's the man that we need to see coming down into the chase. Footner's away. No, wait, Footner hasn't stopped. Yep, I can hear you. If Vic or Fiona can get on the blower and let us know. Okay, so Stu's in. Stu hadn't pitted. Sorry, I'm just catching up, Burrow, with what's going on here. But Footner looks like he could be about to take the lead of this race. Amazingly, after all of that, so wow, hasn't the weather thrown this completely up in the air? I wanted to ask you, Burrow. Yeah, how did you find your stint? You were mentioning how you had some ripper pace and some consistent times in the 203s, and things were looking pretty good. And yeah, and with the yeah, it looks like it. It's in. So if you open up the party chat, and are you on the PS5? And you know how there's those 5 options and there's those 3 dots which say more? There should be some voice settings under that which you'll be able to find, allow your voice to be shared.
There we go. I found it.
Bingo.
I've got it. Yeah. Got it. Thanks, guys.
Well, what we're looking at here, Buzz, is Riggsy has dropped to 4th.
Yeah, so I've seen when I sat down after I got up, got a drink and came back, and when I sat down I seen Riggsy in the wall at I think it was the Dipper. So he's banged into the wall at the Dipper right at the start of his stint, so I think he was pretty compromised there for a bit, and I guess he's fixed his damage when he pitted, I'd say.
Yeah.
So that's probably where he lost that, because he had about 10 seconds on Footner and came out, and was about 12 seconds behind, or 14 seconds behind Stu, and then, came out 38 seconds behind. So I guess he's fixed that damage, so.
Yeah, probably a smart move with the weather. Want to keep that thing as stable as possible. So
I wonder if Footner would have taken wets, surely. Would you take wets?
You'd have to. He was definitely in there for a pit stop. So we've got track is damp, so I would definitely be on the wets, and there is no let up in the rain.
No, and 6 minutes to go as well. So good work, good strategy play by the old guy and the young guy.
Yeah, well, Gaz did a fantastic stint initially, as you said, a couple of small mistakes, but only really lost that one position to yourself.
Yeah, I see. He was. Yeah, I didn't know whether he put it in the wall or it looked like he got going again. So yeah.
How have you found the Lexus?
I wouldn't say it's my car of choice, but it hogs along alright up the straights, and
there's drama here. There's drama. We've just had Knoxray lose it. Coming up, he got to the tree there, and Footner just couldn't get the car stopped.
And he's
coming up to lap, but it was only a small
bump.
Small hit.
Hopefully it's got heaps of damage at the front.
Yeah. Bit of understeer.
Yeah, I understand.
But
You got the cough button.
yep, the cough button.
The cough button.
So-
But I think it's gone pretty well tonight. I think, yeah, it's sort of gone off pretty well. I think Metal might have pitted a lap early, but I think he had a fair bit of damage, and when he came in, Bowdy went. I was talking to him earlier, but that's okay. This is the first time we've run this, so we're going to have teething problems with it, so
yeah,
we'll iron it all out. But I think it's a pretty cool concept. I've never been so nervous starting a race, I don't think. Just knowing that you got to try and get the car to that number and hand it over and make no mistakes. So
I was talking a little bit earlier. Sorry, one sec.
cough it up, mate.
Oh, it's really late race when it's all happening.
Yeah.
I was talking a bit earlier about the cognitive load aspects to it, and without having all of the tools available that the PC does, but ACC already being a high load platform. If we think about the starts of the race and the formations and having to keep an eye on that, and all the other things around your strategy that you have to pay attention to, it's difficult.
Yeah, it's difficult to get this done, but I think we'll get it done, and hopefully we can move on to the PS4 as well and learn what we've done wrong and make it even better for the PS5 version coming up. Hopefully that gets a bug fix, or hopefully it doesn't just make it worse again or whatever, but
yeah, it's a bit of a lucky dip
soldier
with that.
on. Yeah, because the graphics are great and the physics seem pretty good, but just doesn't run like it should. Was Footner just in the wall?
He was only a small hit, but yeah,
they're all going to add up.
certainly will.
He's had crazy pace. It was a shame to see Binger go out so early there. I think he started clawing his way back as well and had another little off, so
yeah,
which was a shame. He was on it, so yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of up and down, and he handed over to Rain of Fire, who I think has done a pretty good job. He had a bit of damage earlier on, but otherwise he's looked to keep it pretty calm and consistent. And I don't think we've had too many incidents by way of driver-to-driver contact, so
No.
a few incidents, but yeah, otherwise a pretty clean race.
Yeah. Done well, and raining. I can't believe it's raining.
I know.
It's a fantastic finish, though. Well
Two
set
and a
up
bit.
for the service, JJ.
Yeah, exactly.
10 minutes of rain. Don't tell anyone.
I'm wondering if it's a happy accident or not by coincidence.
Yeah.
With JJ, you never know.
No. No, that's right. But thanks for jumping on and fixing the stream for us, Jamie, tonight. River.
Yeah.
You'll always be River to me, mate.
Yeah, there's plenty of rivers going on the circuit at the moment, so
yeah, that's right.
It all works out nicely. We're happy to have jumped on and glad that we've had a really good event, and well done.
We appreciate it.
All the organisation that you've done. Just a quick question. So if Bounty finishes where he is, and he's actually catching Stu in these last laps, what will we classify him as? We just leave it as it is?
Yeah, look,
deal with that later.
It's pretty much a trial, so yeah, I'll put that to the admin team.
Yeah,
it's above my pay grade.
we'll leave that. We'll leave that for later, and I'll just congratulate everyone on a great race.
Ads and K-Man can sort that out. We'll put it to the stewards.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see where he goes here. He's 2.3 seconds behind Stu, so Stu's struggling a bit, and in fact, he has just passed Stu. So, and I can see a lot of polystyrene on the side of the track, which looks like it has a Stewart-sized Bentley. Plowed straight through it.
Yes, it does.
Anyway, Barra, I'll let you go.
Appreciate it, mate. Thank you. Thanks everyone for showing up. It was a good event. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Barra. Okie dokie. So let's bring it home. 1 minute left on the race clock. Footner, despite having a few taps here in these last moments, has a commanding 30-second lead. So he just needs to get it over the line. He can go pretty slow to get there. Bounty holding up second place. Not sure, as we just talked about, what we'll do about the positioning, but nonetheless, we've got to credit him for a fine drive. That Bentley looking absolutely sparkling, so he's kept that nice and tidy. Stu, it looks like, just really struggled in the rain, so if these guys hadn't been expecting wet weather, it would have, of course, be a pretty simple change to make to put on the wet tyres, but what isn't simple is knowing what temperatures to set the tyres, and we've actually finished the race, so Footner's won. Footner and Gaz, teammates, have won the Bathurst special event Enduro, driver swap Enduro, and what drama at the end. It means we're going to see Bounty come over the line. Bounty and his teammate Metal Steel, who was backwards into the chase just before the driver swap. Bounty will take second with Metal Steel. Stu and Azuro will come over the line in third position on the road, provisionally for now. And then we've got Rigsy, who, as we heard from Barra, might have had a bit of an incident early on in his stint, and coming in for various pit stops has dropped him down the field, so he'll cross the line in fourth when he gets there. Rain of Fire and his teammate Binger, who had blazing pace, but a few incidents in his stint, so Rain of Fire has dragged that thing up to fifth. Sparky God, teammates with Stozza, up to sixth. So of 9 runners, Stoz was running plumb last for a good portion there, after coming together with the wall and having some excursions on the grass. So Sparky, with that good, consistent, clean approach, in sixth. Noxrai and his teammate Coolboy in 7th, and Adge in the Ferrari, his teammate Rocky and Zed come home 8th. Apologies, I'm struggling with the coughing here at the moment. So Adge and Rocky in 8th, and we did have a dropout, a disconnect, unfortunately. And that was Psycho and Rip the Beans. Unfortunately, didn't make the end of the race. So 8 out of the 9 runners finished. It was a bit of a spread, but we had some good action throughout the race, and we had some varying strategies as well. Let me see. I'll see if I can get Gaz and Footner in for a very quick chat, because I don't know how much longer my voice will hold out for. So stick around. We'll have a quick chat if we can get them. While we wait for them, I just want to thank everyone for keeping me company on the chat and for all your comments and letting me know things that we're missing. It very much appreciated when just one person at the moment just trying to keep an eye on everything, so thanks for being involved. Looks like we've got, is that you, Cam, joined us, and Gaz as well?
Yeah.
Yes. Woohoo.
Fellas, huge congratulations. Wow, how's that?
Absolutely stoked on that. Thought the race was gone.
Couldn't believe it when we saw the weather just appear with about 15 minutes to go that the rain was coming. What did you think, Cam, when you were out there and you saw that?
Well, obviously it wasn't planned, but I was running a bit tight on fuel for dry running, so I was trying to stay out as long as I could while my pressures were okay, just to double check my fuel numbers. And yeah, just doing that half a lap in the wet, and I'm like, oh, nah, Gaz, it's slippery. And yeah, Gaz called out wets, and I was a little bit hesitant. And then when Stu came in, obviously we had that little bit of a buffer, and it was just about nursing that home.
How were you dealing with the pressures? Did you have any indication of what they might need to be set to, or did you have a strat ready to go?
Yeah, absolutely no strat ready to go. Gaz
Of course.
called it out, so massive credit to Gaz there. He got him in the window.
That's brilliant. So well planned, Gaz, then.
Lucky I had my little cheat sheet sitting next to me on what to do for an impromptu wet stop. So I fluked it, I think.
Well, it's, as we were talking about before, Gaz, when we were having a chat, these enduros and driver swap events are very long, and strategy, luck, preparation all plays a part. And that was a little 1%er that you thought about, and now it's helped deliver you the victory.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what do you think about the event overall? Do you think it's gone pretty well? We've had a chat with a few of the drivers, and everyone's been talking very positively about it.
Yeah, I think it's been great. Absolute ball. As I said last night, doing the qualifying, and then sitting there watching the quick guys do their shootout, and then tonight, or doing my stint and sitting there watching Cam bring it home. It was a great night of fun.
And Cam, are you how are you feeling? I know that you're thinking about not sitting out the regular season coming up, but reckon there might be an opportunity to jump on one of these again shortly if another one comes up.
Oh, I'll jump on it in a heartbeat. It's so much fun, that qualifying format and the shootout that really loaded the pressure on. I think I say it every time, but I was nervous before the start of that. I was nervous before this one, and just somehow managed to keep it off the fence in any major fashion. Unfortunately, I couldn't avoid Knox there with about 3 laps to go. Had a spin and just locked the brakes trying to pull it up and slid into him. I don't know if you call it that, but
I did happen to be on you at the time.
Yeah, I did say no commentators' curses.
You did, yes. For both of you, I deeply apologise. But look, you've won the race.
Yeah, no, can't complain with that. Massive thanks to everyone who was involved in putting it on. It went swimmingly. Honestly, such a lovely event. I hope there's another one, and I'd love to jump in again.
Awesome. Well, congrats again to both of you guys, the inaugural winners of the team driver swap event. So congrats, and I'll probably close things off now because I'm literally about to have a coughing fit. But thanks.
All right. Cheers,
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for jumping on board and doing the broadcast too, Jamie. It's been great.
No worries.
Yeah, massive thanks to you, Jamie.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
And many thanks to Burra and JJ and everyone else involved in putting it together. It's been a great couple of nights.
I echo that as well.
Absolutely, a huge amount of effort and work going on there, so appreciate all of that, Barra, Ads, K-Man, JJ, everyone that's involved, and thanks again to everyone in the chat and for watching along. Appreciate all the comments and for sticking along with me, and yeah, we'll leave it there. So have a good night, everyone, and keep an eye on the Ruse Discord and Ruse Tube for what's coming up next. So till next time, see you later.